Hey guys, let's look today at context and framing. This is a way of connecting your reader to your essay and connecting the intro and conclusion paragraphs to each other to sort of make the thing seem like a whole piece, like it's organic. Let's start with context. What is that? On a number of your essays, I've explained this or given you examples. I want to put something out there that's a little bit more formal, something you can refer back to. First, let's look at an example. This is an example prompt. Educators debate extending high school to 5 years because of increasing demands on students from employers and colleges to participate in extracurricular activities and community service in addition to having high grades. Some educators support extending high school to 5 years because they think students need more time to achieve all that is expected of them. Other educators do not support extending high school to 5 years because they think students will lose interest in school and attendance would drop in the 5th year. In your opinion, should high school be extended to 5 years? And then we have the boilerplate language. Okay, that in mind, let's talk about context. Context for the intro paragraph. When introducing a piece of writing, you must create interest for the reader. One way to do this is by beginning close to the topic but not quite on the topic. It's called context. If your first sentence begins with the topic or you state your position, then you are not using context. Don't worry, you're going to see a lot of examples of good context in this PowerPoint. Actual student examples. Okay, now thinking back on the do we extend high school to 5 years or not prompt. This is an essay that earned a 5. That's an excellent score on the ACT essay. Demand for more credits, community service, and better grades runs many high schoolers ragged. For many, anything but the best is simply unacceptable. In a society that constantly tells its youth they must have the highest paycheck and newest car to be happy, why wouldn't this be the case? Okay, this writer proposes some interesting ideas, but he or she does not tell us what the topic is. If I read that, I wouldn't know exactly what this person is arguing for, but I'm interested. And that's the idea. You just want to get your reader hooked and ready to hear what the topic is. Here's the rest of it. A 5th year of high school would help to alleviate this problem. There we have the position, the thesis of the essay. It would give students more opportunity to take classes, they would enjoy, take stress off teenagers, and give the youth of our nation a chance to develop good priorities. Now, we'll expect in the body paragraphs of this essay, which you're not going to see right now because I'm not concerned with that, but I just want to remind you that those 3 ideas that this person gives at the end of this paragraph are going to show up in that order in those body paragraphs. Okay, here's a 6, an even better essay. The senior itch, the incurable chafing we all crave to scratch. The cure? Graduation. Now, at this point, I'm thinking, oh, this person is going to argue against the 5 year. But watch what she does. As we progress through our high school years, growing with wisdom and maturity, we all yearn for freedom. Yet, what we desire most is not always what is best for us. She's going to go the other way. Although most won't want to admit it, extending our high school career to 5 years would make an important and beneficial impact on our future. Okay, there's her position. I do know that this is a she who wrote this one. But notice the first couple of sentences, first 3 or 4 sentences actually, we don't know exactly what the prompt is. But it's interesting. We're hooked. We want to hear more of what she has to say. Then she can go to her position, or she can explain what the topic is or what the debate is. Okay, it's good context. All right, now consider this prompt. Your town council is considering imposing a curfew requiring students under the age of 18 to be off the streets by 10 p.m. Some parents believe it will reduce disciplinary problems and promote safety. Other parents do not agree and believe that it should be up to parents to determine curfews for their children. Take a position on it. Okay, so should there be a curfew or should there not be a curfew? Let's look at examples of context. Kick the can, hide and seek, bloody murder. What would childhood be without late night games? For many of us, memories of summer are made of things like these. Okay, this person is going to argue against a curfew, and my guess is part of the essay is going to involve childhood games, late night fun, that sort of thing. Hopefully they'll bring in some other more substantive issues, but this is still good context because it hooks the reader and it points us in the direction of the topic without giving the topic away. That's what good context does. Let's look at some more. Kids today are busier than ever. Between school, jobs, and homework, the only time they have left to live the rest of their life is after the sun goes down. Same idea. They're going to argue against a curfew. It seems that more and more we're looking to the government for everything. Our income, our food, now our health care. Do we really need the government to be raising our kids too? Again, arguing against the curfew. But none of these have mentioned the word curfew. Now, it's okay if you do mention the word curfew. You just want to make sure that you're doing it in good, broader context. These are all big ideas that you could express to just about anybody, and you could get them nodding and interested in what you're saying. From there, it's an easy step to move to the topic. And remember, with persuasive writing, that's what you're doing. You're getting them interested so that they want to hear what you have to say. You're moving to your topic, and then you're arguing once you've got them. We're not done. Some things are just necessary to living in community with others. If you can't share things like safety, peace, and trust with your neighbors, then something needs to change. Okay, this person's arguing the other way, that a curfew is going to be beneficial to the community. Whether they like it or not, kids need boundaries. And when parents won't or can't set those boundaries, it's up to the community to do it for them. Same idea here. They're going to argue for the curfew. Good context. It's broad, doesn't jump into the topic or state the position yet. One more. Restrictions, government control, and totalitarianism. Sounds like a communistic dictatorship, but I'm describing the USA and a small town within it. The issue is a curfew. Keep that in mind. This is obviously, we know the direction they're going. This person does not like the idea of a curfew. I want you to keep that one in mind because I'm going to refer back to it later. Okay, let's talk about framing. So with context, at the beginning of the paragraph, your first words need to ease the reader into it. We don't jump right to topic. We don't jump right to position. We pick out something broader, something general that we can then step to and talk about actual topic and position. Framing is kind of a continuation of this at the back end of the essay. When we talk about framing the essay, we just mean that we use the same word or phrase at both ends of the essay. So language will be familiar. As we read the end of the essay, it will repeat something that was said at the beginning, and our minds will just sort of wrap the whole essay up, tie it together, make it organic. It's a real easy strategy for giving a sense of wholeness to your writing. Look at the context you used in the intro paragraph and think of ways to repeat keywords or phrases in your conclusion. A word or phrase is all you need. Avoid repeating any more than that because intro and conclusion paragraphs do different jobs. A suggestion is all you need to connect the two and frame the essay. Here's an example. We just saw this example. Restrictions, government control, totalitarianism sounds like a communistic dictatorship, but I'm describing the USA and a small town within it. The issue is a curfew. Now, if I wrote that, I'm finishing up my essay. I've got 2 minutes left out of my 30 to finish this thing. I look back at that and think, what could I repeat? What could my last sentence be? I mean, there's some good words here. There's all kinds of real memorable words. If I said communistic dictatorship, that would clearly tie it back. Let's see what the person actually did. This is the concluding paragraph of the essay. So we left out all the body. Concluding paragraph. It is true that children need guidance, someone to show them a lifestyle that would bring them happiness and prosperity. But who is supposed to give the guidance that children need? The parents or the authorities? Well, if you live in a free country, it should be the parents. The proposed curfew of 10 o'clock for those under 18 makes me think the town council has forgotten where we live. Has forgotten where we live. What is that referring back to? Because those words were not there. They're not there literally, but they are implied. There's a suggestion there. It sounds like a communistic dictatorship, but I'm describing the USA and a small town within it. Town council has forgotten where we live. This is good context and good framing. This repeats the idea of where we live. Do we live in a free country or a communistic country? The town council has forgotten that we live in a free country, right? That's what's being suggested. Okay, different example. Funding problems have forced your school administration to consider program cuts. One option is to reduce the athletic budget. Another is to reduce arts and humanities offerings. The administration has asked students for their views on the issue and has announced that its decision will be based in part on how such a reduction would affect the overall educational mission of the school. Okay, and we're to write an essay about this. What do we cut? Athletics, or the arts, the humanities? Let's look at some examples of context and then the intro that we might, or the conclusion, the framing that we might pull from it. Context from the intro paragraph. Getting jobs in the modern world becomes an educational competition. Having the right classes that teach you how to be more successful or to be more skillful is important. Okay, that's good context. Not exactly sure the direction they're going to go, but you got me hooked. Here's context from the conclusion. So remember, when we talk about context, it shows up in the intro, in the conclusion. It becomes framing when they're connected, when it's a repetition of an idea or an image. Okay, last sentence in the concluding paragraph might be something like this. Keeping our arts and humanities offerings will help students to land the jobs that everyone's competing for. Okay, competition and competing. The idea of competition was introduced. That works. That's good framing. Here's another one. Times are hard all over. Family, businesses, and communities are all being forced to cut unnecessary things, and schools are no exception. We need to make some tough choices about program cuts. Okay. Now looking at that, read it over again. What might be a good thing to repeat at the very end? Something that would drive home the main idea and repeat language at the beginning to give it a sense of wholeness. Let's see what we came up with. Cutting the athletic budget is one way to emphasize what school is all about, academics. It's a tough choice, but anything else would also be a stupid choice. Okay, we repeat the word tough. We repeat twice the word choice and the phrase tough choice. Okay, good framing. Now that doesn't seem like a lot, but a reader of an essay will pick up on that. They'll read that last sentence and the connection will be made. This writer said something like that at the very beginning, and you get a lot of credit for doing that. Writers or readers love to see that there's a sense of organic wholeness to the essay. And this is an easy way. All right, let's look at one more. We don't all learn in the same way. Some learn visually, some by doing hands-on things. Okay, I think I can tell which way this is going. All right, they're going to argue that athletics maybe needs... No, let's keep going. Training these different parts of our brains is an important part of any education. Here's the context. Let's develop all parts of our brains. Okay, there's the repetition, and keep both. So this person walked the line and did that third option, which I've been kind of swaying you away from. But maybe they did a good essay. The point is that the framing is done well and the context is done well. Okay, last example. These are longer. I wanted to give you a full intro paragraph, full conclusion. As crowds fill the stadium, the sale of tickets and concession stand items help fill the school's treasury. Yes, education should be our primary focus, but when it comes to keeping the school open, when it comes to the bottom line, nothing beats a Friday night football game. It will hurt to cut fine arts from the curriculum, but we simply can't survive cutting athletics. Okay, there's the beginning, here's the end. Cutting athletics won't help. In fact, it will hurt us twice. It will result in lower enrollment as athletes seek other districts, and it will eliminate the events which allow for ticket sales. Both effects will reduce revenues, which is a problem we're trying to solve in the first place. As unfortunate as it is, and as hard as it may be for some to hear, cutting fine arts will simply have a lesser effect on our bottom line. There it is. That was repeated. It will hurt, but we will at least survive it. Oh, we have another repetition because the word survive and survive show up. Okay, good intro context and conclusion context, which makes it a good frame. Okay, some takeaway. Don't plan your framing before you start writing the essay. This is important. If you do the context in the intro well, then you should not have a problem finding something to repeat in the conclusion. You don't want to waste your time thinking of ways to repeat. Instead, just get that intro, context down, and when you're done, look back and see what can be repeated. Okay, I hope that's helpful. See you guys.